You know, my love for Black Widow now seems trivial compared to this movie. Hi everyone and welcome to my Shang-Chi spoiler review. I want to preface this by saying that I love this movie so much, and with that intro I don't want to say anything detrimental to Black Widow because I do love that movie as well. I just want you guys to understand how much I love Shang-Chi in comparison. I hope that's a good comparison. I did review Black Widow for Daily Planet, so if you want to read about my love for Black Widow, you can go over there. I'll link it somewhere or put it on the screen, whatever. But think about that, but times whatever number for Shang-Chi. I love this movie so much. It is so rewatchable. And honestly, even when I finished the movie, I wanted to immediately see it again. And I'm so sad I've only been able to watch it one time. But I love Shang-Chi, both the movie and the character himself. And I was not even intending to make this video, not because I didn't think this movie was important, but because I am moving right now, and I'm actually moving next Sunday, and I barely have anything packed, and I really should be packing right now, but that's how much I love this movie. I stopped. I'm glad I didn't pack my webcam and my computer yet because I had to talk about this. It's so necessary. It's completely necessary. And by the way, this is my spoiler review, giving my thoughts, but I will also be discussing the two end credit scenes that were at the end of the movie at the end of this video and where I think they'll be going with that. I think the end credit scenes were great. I don't know who was calling them like medium. I think they were fantastic, but we'll get to that later. So, man, with Shang-Chi, just from the opening scene, for me, I love like martial arts movies, the entire genre. I love them. I kind of grew up with them, watching them. So with the first opening scene, that scene just felt so reminiscent of like a film to me, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And from that point, I just knew the movie would be something special. And after that scene ended, I was actually more afraid that I wouldn't live up to that scene, but I'm glad it did. I love that the fight scenes in Shang-Chi were fantastic, but they were also used for character development. So even talking about the fight scenes are spoilers. And by the way, again, this is a spoiler video, this is a spoiler review, and if you are a person who's like, oh, I don't care about spoilers, care about them for this movie. I think anyone should experience Shang-Chi without spoilers, so please go and watch Shang-Chi if you can, and come back and watch this video afterwards. But and to me, you had to experience it in theaters because it's so visually stunning. I was just amazed at what I was watching. I did see an IMAX, and also I've been listening to all the music from the film on repeat, especially the music that was in the first opening scene. I love that scene. It was so romantic. Oh, it was just so great, showing the power of the rings and legend of the homeland of THEY LUV, but we'll get to that in a moment. Even I think the bus fight scene, that's where I fell in love with Shang-Chi himself. And I think they did a bit of disservice by showing clips of that scene just for promotion, because that bus scene goes on for so much longer than you think it would. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved every bit of it, and I wish I hadn't even seen that first part of it, because I just love going in. Like, I watch trailers, but I try not to watch clips, but I was so excited for this movie that I couldn't resist watching a few clips beforehand. Another scene that I really loved, honestly, the entire movie, I just loved it. I loved when Shang-Chi had to face off against the 10 Rings because they stole his pendant on the bus, and he went to his sister because he thought, well, he was correct that they were going to steal her pendant and do something nefarious because, it's their dad. But that entire sequence, from the tournament to the outside fight to back to the inside, and then Tony Leung just walks into the room and commands the whole room, and then even Jai Ling fighting against Shang-Chi, all of it was great. I also do want to note, before I forget, Awkwafina as Katie, she's amazing, and I love that not just Shang-Chi and not just the villain Tony Leung get get their due. I love that Katie is in the entire film. She's also in the finale of the film, and she finds her purpose. I think that was awesome, especially since it was an ongoing theme with her character that she was just, a talented person who couldn't find her way or find her purpose. So I love that she took up archery at the last minute. And even she was kind of an archery prodigy in a way. But I love that she had a role throughout the entire movie. And then even Awkwafina herself, she just takes all the attention. She was great. She was great. With the villain, with Wenwu, who is supposed to be the Mandarin. Well, it's funny that Ben Kingsley shows up in this film. He is a great villain, and to me, I still think he's a villain. I don't like that. Okay, look, because I heard some people saying like, "Oh, he's not a villain. He's too sympathetic." Villains can't be sympathetic. Like, it's fine, but just because he has a sympathetic goal doesn't erase the evil he's done in like the centuries he's been alive. So it's weird for me when people say like, "Oh, he's not a villain. He's more of an anti-hero." No. He's a villain, and Tony Leung as his character is amazing. Like, he was great. He's an icon. So honestly, what do we expect? And also, how does he look that good and they didn't even have to de-age him? What is his secret? Oh my gosh, come on. Oh yeah, Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing, love her, admire her. She kicked ass, like everything I want in a character, everything. And I love that in the future it looks like they're going to be exploring the different paths, like her path versus Shang-Chi's path. In the MCU, he's going with the hero route. Obviously, she's going more villainy, anti-hero route. But I'll talk about that more later with the end credit scene. But just know, I love her with my entire heart and soul. And another thing I wanted to know, I didn't really like Shang-Chi's outfit when we first saw it in a picture. It kind of looked flat. But when they actually present his new outfit and they explain the meanings of the dragon scales, and even in the movie, it just looked brighter somehow, and seeing the detail of it, it made me love the costume even more. And when Shang-Chi got the 10 rings, I loved showing how the 10 rings were used, not just with Shang-Chi, but with Wenwu as well, with the way he would use them versus the way Shang-Chi would use them, and it reflected their different fighting styles. Awesome detail. And this is strange. This is strange, but whatever. In a weird way, I actually liked that Shang-Chi did end up killing his mother's killer, but still ran away from home. I wish they had shown that, but at the same time, it was a scene where he was confiding in Katie, and I like that emotion on that scene and seeing it on his face, so I'll give them a pass. But I actually did like that. That's kind of a scar on his soul, because so many parts of the movie would show that he is his mother's son, but he's also his father's son, so I like that kind of gray zone. If you know me, you know I like books, comic books, movies, anything where the characters are more in a gray zone, and anything that asks like a lot of moral and ethical questions I think is fascinating, so I like showing that. Not sure if I mentioned it yet, but Shang-Chi as the movie itself it's a very emotional movie. It has a very strong emotional core, exploring themes of family and grief. And I think the theme of grief is maybe a overall theme of Phase 4 of the MCU. Because just look at WandaVision, Loki, even Falcon Winter Soldier. Like, I think it's even Black Widow. Yeah, I think that's the overarching theme of Phase 4 is grief. Maybe. Oh my gosh, interesting choice, but I like it. And at the end of the movie, when Shang-Chi's father sacrificed himself, man, God, brought tears to my eyes. Like, yes, he's a villain, but seeing that he was looking at his son and the son was looking up at his father, you could see the moment that his life went out of his eyes. Oh my gosh. And I actually thought it was very compelling that this villain who wanted power for so long, but when the cave was calling to him, his greatest desire was still his wife. It wasn't for power. And I think Tony Leung played it so well. So well. And the entire finale, I loved it. Oh my gosh. Even the moment when Shang-Chi finally, he had all the 10 rings, and they swirled around him, and he got to the final part where he was defeating the dragon. dragon. Yes, and he was up in the air and twirling, and using his like mother's powers that have been like given to him in this ancestral place. Oh my god, it was so awesome. Like, again, I hope you have watched this movie. I'm not spoiling this whole thing for you, or you chose to watch a spoiler video, because it is so amazing to witness. It's I want to watch it again. And when I finished the movie, I immediately wanted Shang-Chi to show up again. I want a sequel. I want him to show up in another movie. I want him to show up in a show. So anything. That's my entire vibe right now. It's just Shang-Chi everything. So those are my overall thoughts of the movie. I did write a non-spoiler review for, maybe I should have mentioned this earlier, whatever. I did write a non-spoiler review for Daily Planet, so I'll link that once that's up, where I go more into detail of like the smaller things I liked. But these are just my overall spoiler thoughts. And I also, before I end this, I want to discuss the 2 end credit scenes. One mid-credit and then one all the way at the end, like post-credits. And I loved both of them. Because the first end credit scene is Wong comes to find Katie and Shang-Chi because the 10 rings are sending off this beacon, to something. But we get 2 cameos from Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner, but they are affirming that the 10 rings, they're not vibranium, they're not Shatari, they're not like any alien tech. And again, we are reminded that his dad has been on the earth for a long time. So where did these things come from? He had them for centuries. The 10 rings have a completely different origin, or I just don't think they'll go with this origin because I don't know, like, I feel like the MCU tries to keep things simple, because usually I think in the comics that they are cosmic, they are from space, and they actually come from like these space dragons that have already like shown up at the end. That's who the Great Protector was. But when Shang-Chi wields the 10 rings, they turn gold. So are they Eternals tech? Because technically the Eternals are cosmic. They use cosmic energy. So is that why it's like a similar gold color to the Eternals energy? And maybe we'll see another cameo from Shang-Chi in the Eternals. I'm just trying to manifest another cameo. I love this character so much. I love all these characters. So, and then at the same time, it's very strange because why is that beacon only going off now? Why is it only going off when Shang-Chi uses them? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm just trying to pose questions. And then who is it calling to? Is it Eternal? And then will Shang-Chi find them, or will they find Shang-Chi? I'm actually very interested in this. And since I think the most exciting thing about this end credit scene is, could Shang-Chi show up in the Marvels? That would make me so happy, since Captain Marvel showed up here. Maybe they investigate who the beacon's calling out to. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm just trying to manifest the next appearance, because with how busy and full the MCU slate is, I have no idea when this movie could get a direct sequel. So if he could show up in the Marvels, that would be awesome. Now the second end credit scene, which I also love, shows that Shang-Chi's sister Xialing is taking over the 10 rings, and this is honestly wonderful to me, because this character has always been on the outside of everything, and when she did run away, she did start her own mini junior empire with the tournament and everything. But now she finally has her chance to step into her father's empire. And I'm pretty sure Shang-Chi thinks that she's just, getting rid of it. But no, she's taking the opportunity to like do her own thing. And when she was never given that chance before. And I love when like you see the changed logo, you see, you hear the music come in. She just has, she has the whole boss vibe. But the image pans out to show that not only women are training, but the men are training. It's like an all-inclusive 10 rings, when it was never that way before. And I absolutely love it. I love that she is taking the path of leading the 10 rings and make the conflict that could cause in the future. And another thing I love is that at the end, it says the 10 rings will return. And I love that that references both the first end credit scene with the actual 10 rings, and then the second end credit scene with the 10 rings, the organization. So that just made me super excited, super happy. I think, man, like, this movie is so awesome. Like, it starts off on such a high note and ends on such a high note, and everything in the middle is great too. Like, that really happens. It was so well paced, such a fun time. Again, see this movie. If you have seen it, leave your thoughts on the movie down below. Do you love it as much as I do? I hope you do, because man, it is so awesome. I did kind of share my initial thoughts, and I think this ranks, well, I already ranked it, but this probably ranks like right under Black Panther for me, or almost tied, because it's so special. I love it so much. So yeah, just leave me your thoughts down below of what you think of the movie, and I'll see you guys later.